Hey, shalom, shalom. And before I get started, as always, I want to say call Haloyim La Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai Bahashem Rakak Wadash, and double honors be unto my apostles and the elder bishops at Great Millstone that rule well and that teach well and that taught me this truth through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. All right, and peace and blessings also be unto the elect of the nation of Israel. All right, you men, women, and children. All right, those of you who truly believe on the names Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. All right, and that standing firm through faith here in these latter days. All right, and just coming back at you with another lesson, another Hebrew word of the week. All right. And, as well as to what? To edify the lambs, the sheep of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. All right. And, Adawan Ratazah, Lord's will, this be of edification. All right. And as you can see on the screen, okay, the Hebrew word of the week is going to be stemming from Isaiah 13:9. Okay. And it's going to be the word desolate. All right. Shalakia, the word desolate. Okay. Which as you can see, the word desolate in the Hebrew is Shamah. 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 All right. Which means waste, horror, Shalakia, appallment, a waste of land, city, etc. All right. And this is basically what America is about to be turned into. Okay, desolation. As pursuant to the scriptures. All right. As pursuant to thus said the Lord, Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. Okay. Eventually, this war, okay, which is, brewing up in the Middle East, okay, will eventually leave America desolate. All right. Because as it is written, the least of the flock, okay, which are you small hats over there in the land of Israel, okay, are going to draw them out. Them being the U.S., America. Okay, they're going to get involved with whatever you get involved with. Okay. And really America has no choice in the matter, no say so. All right. Because Israel controls America. All right. And that's why, they have a saying now, United States of Israel. All right. That's basically what it is. They're taking over. And they've been had control of America. They just been playing behind the scenes. But now that we're at the end, okay, these devils are being exposed, man. Okay, which through the spirit we've been through these things, but they're being made more plain. Okay, for everybody to see. But only the elect is going to take heed. Okay. That, these people, these Edomites, beginning with the top banker elites, all right, are devils, man. A bunch of devils. Okay, they're the wicked that the Bible speaks of, man. And the earth was given into their hands. Okay, to deceive, to lie. Okay, but those lies are no longer working. All right, and without further ado, let's go ahead on and get straight into it. And once again, Adawan Ratazah, Lord's will, it be an edification. Okay. This is Isaiah chapter 13 and verse 9. And it reads, it says, behold, the day of the Lord cometh cruel, both with wrath and fierce anger, to lay the land desolate, and he shall destroy the sinners thereof out of it. Right? And this precept here is going in, going into the day of the Lord. You know how it's going to be cruel. All right. It's not going to be a good sight. Okay. For 2/3 of our people. All right. As well as the rest of the world. Okay. Because it's going to be cruel, man. Vicious. All right. Scary. Okay. It ain't been no day like it. Okay. So that should give you an imagination right there. Okay. Seeing that it's going to be worse than 70 AD. Seeing that it's going to be worse than in the time of Egypt. All right. You know, and the children of Israel were delivered. Okay. But it's going to be far worse than anything in history, man. All right. America's going to be the new monument. Okay. Of how not to be. All right. This place has been a beacon of wickedness for far too long. Okay, so now is the judgment, okay, for you Edomites. All right, is at hand, man. All right, and the main hub for you Edomites is America. All right, that's where a majority of you Edomites are. Okay, but let's read this again. It says, "Behold, the day of the Lord cometh cruel, both with wrath and fierce anger." And we know the day of the Lord represents what? The return of our Lord Yahweh Shai. Okay, cracking the clouds and, Esau and the other nations making war with them. All right. And as it is written, they will not prevail. All right. Meaning they will not win. Okay. Because at the end of the day, our Lord Yahweh Shai, he's King of kings and Lord of lords. All right. There's nobody that can contend with him. Okay. All right. But nevertheless, all right, the Lord is going to harden the minds of these nations, beginning with Esau, Edom, to try to fight against him. Okay. He got to make it fun. All right. But nevertheless, it's going to, be a dreadful day. Okay. Especially for you heathens and 2/3 of our people, man. All right. That didn't utilize this time. Okay. To draw near, to draw close to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. Okay. You're going to be overtaken in this day. It says, both with wrath and fierce anger, right? Because that's how the Lord is coming back. All right. And every eye is going to see him, even those who pierced him. All right. The day of vengeance is in our Lord Yahweh Shai's heart, in his mind. Okay. That payback. Okay. And he's angry, man. All right. And he has every right to be. Okay. Because look at the wickedness that has polluted the earth, man. All right. This place has to go. Okay. Let alone, like I said, those Roman centurions who stuck that javelin in the Lord. Hey, the Lord want that get back, man. He pissed about that. He's pissed about everything that's done happened throughout the earth. But let alone that. Okay. And it says to lay the land desolate. Right. And that's what the Lord is coming back to do. Okay. And that's why these troops are being gathered. Okay. Over there in the Middle East. Okay. To kick off this World War III. As was prophesied in the scriptures. All right. The Second World War has passed. And it says the third woe cometh quickly. All right. In which we see that we're clearly in that time. We're in the time of end time prophecy. Okay. Because we're in the end times, man. We're in the latter days of America. All right. And this is the judgment that's going to come upon the whore Babylon the Great, America. Okay, thermonuclear fire. Pursuing the 2 Peter, the 3rd chapter, America's reserved unto this fire that we're speaking about, this destruction that we're going into. Okay, to lay the land desolate. That's going to happen by way of those missiles. Okay, that the Lord ordained to be created. Okay, by way of these different smiths, these different scientists. All right, the Lord, put the mind of war, the heart of war into these nations, man. This is Yahweh by Shamah Shai's program. Okay, and it's going to go how he wanted it to go at the end of the day. All right, and the way we see it going is how he wanted it to go. All right, and though it seemed like, this destruction, all hell break, these prophecies are tarrying, which they don't even seem like they're tarrying anymore. But nevertheless, the destruction, okay, though it tarry, wait for it, man. We're waiting. Here's the faith and the patience of the saints. Okay, we're waiting. We're hastening the coming of our Lord Yahweh Shai. Okay, to come back and take over, man. Okay, and to gather us in his wings, Adawan Ratazah. We be of that number. All right. And it says, and he shall destroy the sinners thereof out of it. All right. And who are the sinners? Who are the only nation of people on the planet Earth that can sin? You're Israelites, man. You so-called Negro, Latino, and Native American Indians. You're the only nation of people that can sin. Okay. Because you're the only nation of people that was given the law. So therefore, you're the only one that can transgress the law. All right, because it was given unto you. Okay. These heathen nations are already outside the temple. They already going to be destroyed. Okay. And the sinners. All right. If you read the book of Amos, the 10th chapter, around, I believe, the 11th verse, it tells you that all the sinners, the Lord said, all the sinners of my people, meaning 2/3 of the nation of Israel, shall die by the sword. Okay? So the Lord is getting ready to jack 2/3 of our people up. All right? Because they didn't want to take heed and adhere to this message. All right? It wasn't cute to them. It wasn't sexy. All right? This world has more hold on our people than the Lord does, man. Or than the words of the Lord. However you want to put it. Okay? But it's meant to be that way. Because as it is written, the elect have attained what which they seek it for, and the rest were blinded, man. Okay, the elect represents the remnant, the elect, the 1/3 of the nation of Israel, and the rest that were blinded, or the 2/3, the sinners. Okay, that the Lord is going to destroy. All right, they're going to be blinded until this destruction come. Okay, until they die and then have to be born again in the kingdom. Okay, have to come back as newborn babes. All right. But nevertheless, I want to get this desolate, the word desolate once again that I got in the beginning of the video. All right. And it going into, when we get the word first, Shamah, once again, which means waste. All right. Because it's desolate in English, waste, horror. Right. And the day of the Lord is going to be a horror. Okay, it's going to be scary, man. It's going to be like a movie you never seen before. All right. And it says a waste of land, city, etc. Right. And this land that it says to lay the land desolate, that represents America. Okay, because if you notice, the word land is singular. So showing you America is going to be totally obliterated, totally desolate, a waste. All right. a ruin. Okay. And yeah, it's gonna be deserted. And this is where these are the times that we're coming into, man. Okay, destruction, man. All right, but we know prior to destruction, okay, all hell's gonna break loose. It was prophesied that the cities would be troubled. Okay, meaning civil war. All right, famines. Okay, which is gonna drive people crazy, because they say when people ain't got nothing to lose, they lose it, and that's a fact. All right, that's what we're about to get ready to see. All right, and that's basically it. I just wanted to come back at you with another Hebrew word of the week. And once again, Adawan Ratazah, Lord will. It was of edification. And until next time, I want to say a Bible ball and quam to the elect of Yasharallah. Hey, shalom, shalom.